Welcome, my digital pathology trailblazers. Um, it's an unusual time for me to go live, and I'm in kind of a public place. So let's see how that will go. I see you coming in. I'm at the Digital Diagnostics Summit, and you're gonna ask, eh, there's Giovanni Lujan. Maybe I'm gonna invite him to come here and you will ask, Alex, why do you have a jacket in this fancy restaurant? Sorry, not the restaurant, fancy place, Hotel St. Regis. Well, because we just came back from the excursion, ATV excursion. This is a different conference, different summit, Digital Diagnostics Summit, organized by Lumea. And how they refer to it is the where the movers and shakers meet, where the decision makers of digital pathology meet. And I was invited um, to a panel to chair a session, chair a panel, and also I'm just walking around talking to people and kind of broadcasting to social media. So if you've followed my profile today and yesterday on LinkedIn, you're gonna see what's happening here. And one cool thing that happened, I'm gonna get back to my panel later, and I'm gonna tell you all about the ATVs as well. So one thing that we did, so you see I have these earrings, right? And pathologists will recognize what that is. It's a multinucleated giant cell. And there's this company called Modela AI, and they have a chat GPT for pathology. And there's a champagne sabering going on. I don't know if I can show you that. It's not part of, because we had it for Digital Diagnostics Summit, we had it yesterday. Um, and today the hotel is organizing for somebody else. Oh, and I see you coming in. So let me know where you are dialing in from. I know some people from California were supposed to join. I don't know if you're here. Oh, more and more people joining. So say hi and let me know where you are tuning in from. I am broadcasting from Utah today, and we are broadcasting on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube in Utah. Amazing. And Instagram as well. So whenever you join, let me know where you're tuning in from so that I can say hi and I can um, know where you are. So, so this champagne sabering, they always do this champagne sabering. And the lady, sorry that I have this microphone so close because I don't want to be shouting. Um, you can hear me, right? Let me know if you can hear me. The champagne sabering, they're gonna like cut off the champagne bottle's neck. Oh, restart needed. My computer is telling me restart later. No, we're not restarting the computer right now. Um, Champagne sabering. So we had this yesterday. Yesterday was a reception dinner, and sure enough, they do have the movers and shakers. You're gonna see people who are like speakers at different conferences here as well. You're gonna see some businesses, but my it's not really for beginners. It's for those who wanna implement, who are already implementing, and who want to learn from the mistakes of people who already implemented, and basically so that they can steal their homework in a good way, right? So that they don't have to repeat the same mistakes. And that was the topic of the panel. The panel was called Lessons from the Trail, and I was so happy to be the chair because you know that I will always welcome you as the digital pathology trailblazers. So when I heard from Bianca Collins that this was the Bianca Collins is the VP of marketing at Lumea, and she invited me to the conference. And when I heard that it's going to be lessons from the trail, I'm like, no kidding, what a coincidence, because you guys are my digital pathology trailblazers. So I had three panelists: Dr. Adam Cole, Dr. Melissa Alexander, and Dr. Nicole Mm, I'll have to check her last name. Um, Muscle. Muscle, I think. Adam Cole and Nicole were from PathNet, and Melissa is now working for AstraZeneca. And they, each of them is like an implementer of digital pathology. And I asked them, okay, what did you like? How did you implement? And what were the biggest hurdles? So, an interesting thing that Adam brought up, and he like requalified it with, well, you will say that this is a first world problem, but um, you once you can sign out digitally, there are really no boundaries, like m- m- mentally, because you know that you could like work the cases, you could sign out cases, and like that whenever you're not doing it, they're piling up and you could actually be doing this. So there's like this mental pressure that because you have the ability to sign out, you should be doing it. So that's like, some maybe mental work, but also um, kind of an expectation that you can. So um, it is a first world problem because this is a kind of first world technology, even though the goal is like to democratize pathology with digitization so that it doesn't have to be a first world technology, but generally in the era of pathologist shortage. um, I don't know where I wanted to go with this. That there is not enough pathologists, so you want to digitize, so we want to democratize. Anyway, doesn't matter. But um, this this mental thing about signing out, and sure enough, later that day, I heard the pathologist. So we went to those excursions to ATVs. That's I went to ATVs and like, look, this is dust. I didn't want to. I showed it to you, but I didn't want to like take off my jacket and be dirty because sure enough, I didn't have enough time to like change clothes. But that's okay. This was an amazing experience, and I got to take my family with me, my kiddos and my husband. They are here, not at the conference, but in the hotel here and hanging out with me. So anyway, so going back to this first world problem of constantly being able to sign out cases, before the excursions, I was asking like, "Oh, where are you going?" And a pathologist said, "Well, I'm not going anywhere because I'm gonna sign out cases." And it was not the first time that I heard pathologists say that um, at the conference, that basically whoever has access to digital sign out, or like, whatever digital component of the work, I don't know if it's like consultations or what like the framework is, um, maybe it is not limited to digital. Maybe they were doing some part of the workflow from conferences, I don't know. But in the digital era, and I caught myself doing the same, that okay, when there is a deadline, you want to meet the deadline, but also sometimes um, you just like do it even though it was a time that was dedicated for something else. um, and I see you guys coming in, so let me know where you're tuning in from. Give me some comments. I'm going to say hi in the comments as well. So that was the panel. Another topic that was discussed in the panel was this adjustment period, because some of the panelists were kind of like thrown into digital pathology. Um, Dr. Melissa Alexander said that, oh, I suggested she should, because she used this phrase, the day I stopped getting my slides. I'm like, Melissa, you should write an article on LinkedIn about your experience the day you stopped getting your slides. So um, at some point, she just stopped getting her slides. She was part of this team that went digital, and she said that she did need like a transition time where she would request her slides. And that was the same for another panelist, Dr. Nicole. And the times varied. And I heard that at DPAI conference, the Digital Pathology Global Engage conference as well, that when institutions were going digital, they would give the pathologists this time where they could work both with digital slides and analog, and that it took the slowest pathologist a year, in sorry, 6 months to totally get rid of the glass, not requested anymore, trusted technology enough. And another hurdle that I thought was very interesting, because Dr. Nicole from PathNet, she specializes in fine needle aspirates and evaluating fine needle aspirates. So that was interesting for me, because this is the like a main pushback that people promoting digital pathology get. Hey, what about cytology? What about smears? What about non FFPE tissue? And she's done a lot of urine cytology. Now she started doing thyroid fine needle aspirates, and she said that I know for she used it, but she said that they wanted to go, and she already like signed out cases digitally for urocytology, like thousands of cases. But she said that when they started implementing, they wanted to like go fully digital, and it took the technicians, histotechnicians, so much longer to do it on digital than on glass. So basically, they had to take a step back and say, okay, no, we're going to do it that the pathologist is going to get the digital slides. So I love the word. I guess, I never heard it like officially as a word called pre-dotted. So whenever the cytotechnologists find something that needs to be evaluated by a pathologist, they put a dot on the slides. So now it became a verb, and you can even pre-dot something. So the pathologists the slides are pre-dotted, and then they are scanned, and the pathologists look at it on digital. She said her speed of work with cytology specimen was at the beginning it was slower than on glass, and now she's okay. But she said that that was a transition as well, and she had to train herself, and that was the same kind of caveat for um, breast specimen, like full tissue, not full tissue, like resections, in contrast to biopsies. So these were my panelists, and I was super honored to be able to do that. Before that, there was a really inspiring talk by Dr. Joseph, and she established. I should take a program and like give you exactly what the program was with the names and everything, which I don't have with me. So, but tomorrow I will bring it. Tomorrow is going to be a very short live stream. Today we have like half an hour together. Tomorrow we're gonna do just a super quick 15 minutes recap. So if you can jump on it, let me know. Oh, and I see more people joining. Let me know where you're coming in from, where you're tuning in from. Let me know. I'm at the DDX Summit, the Digital Diagnostics Summit in Utah. So Dr. Joseph, she actually sees patients. She's a very patient-centric pathologist, because she organized something called the Pathology Clinic, where patients can come and consult a pathologist. Initially, it was just her, and she would explain pathology to people who were diagnosed with cancer. And she was not sure if it's gonna be if it's gonna take off. She didn't know if after the first, I don't know, launch of it, or after the first time she tried it, she didn't know if it's gonna continue. And apparently it was a really big success. And she had this slide with the workflow, like she was basically encouraging people to start doing the same, so that patients can get consultations from their pathologist. And she thought that she didn't know how much it meant for patients until she started doing maybe she designed it from the get-go, because was one of the components that she has in her workflow, how to set something like that up. Mm, that she started doing post consult surveys with patients, and um, and it was very positive. And she said that the patient's voice is the one that's heard the loudest in the C-suite. And I thought that was super inspiring, because this is who we serve, right? The patients. But because this is not like natively, let's call it natively, patient facing specialty, or for me, like totally not, because I work in the drug development, so I'm like kind of a lot of steps removed from when the patient actually gets this drug. But diagnostic pathologists, for MD diagnostic pathologists, are in a different situation. They can, um, but they are like one step also removed from the patient, unless you actively change it. And she did that. And the feedback was so positive that she got endorsement from the executives to keep doing this. And initially it was just her. Then she other pathologists started doing this with her, and she had patient stories, videos of patient stories, um, very, very moving, very, like, bringing this whole thing back to that the medicine is supposed to be for the people. So I kind of like both ends. She was very centric. Okay, we need to see the patients, and it's of value to them. And then she also shared that she was a breast cancer patient at some Okay, I should be back, and you are still here, so thank you so much. Thank you so much. If I'm back, guys, and you're still here. You're all still here, so thank you so much. Let me write a thank you for you. I kind of lost my train of thought, but that's okay. So yeah, so two sides of this coin. One is okay, the patient, being patient-centric, trying like to actively engage with the patient and organizing this wherever you work. And now obviously this can be done digitally, because she was showing like she would invite people to a multi-headed scope, but obviously this is focused on digital diagnostics. So now with the digital pathology capabilities, like there's not really so much logistical problem with this. I mean, I don't know if we consider that telemedicine is problematic, then there's going to be a problem. But um, that's okay. You know, we are digital pathology trailblazers. We troubleshoot. And the conference, the summit started with motivational speech, which was also very moving because it was a person, Griff, who, oh my goodness, I forget all the names, but though for those of you who are going to be listening to the podcast, I'm going to insert those names there. But basically, the speaker was on a wheelchair, and he was paralyzed, and he told the story about this. He was supposed to be a football player, but then in the end became a very successful basketball player, um, para basketball player, um, like, and a Guinness Book record holder, um, and then he stood up from the wheelchair. That was like his gait is very, like, very altered, but he walked, and his spine was smashed. Like, he showed the x-rays of his spine, and obviously all the doctors told him no way, and he said yes, yes, I will do it. And he said 30 years took him, um, 30 years of resilience. He said he's gonna walk his daughter to the altar, and he moves on the wheelchair all most of the time, but he does have the capability to walk. And that was like really moving speech. That was the first one. And then we had some industry experts talking about their AI developments. What I liked very much about the dinner yesterday was that the spirit is super collaborative, and that's the goal of the summit as well. So collaboration, connections, also doing business, but it's not like a standard big conference. It's very small. It's just, I think they capped it at 150 people. And um, intentionally, so that people can network, so that we can go to those excursions, the ATVs. Oh my goodness, guys, the ATVs were a blast. But basically, like, the main the vibe that I'm feeling here is, how can we um, overcome the hurdles? How can we overcome the obstacles, get over the hurdles, so that the gates to digital pathology open and we can actually enter with our value proposition without constantly having to, like, bang at some door. I see people. Maybe I'm gonna invite them. I don't know. I was supposed to have a surprise guest, but he was supposed to come at the 15-minute mark, so he's not coming. It was supposed to be Nick Best from Pathology Outline. Sorry, Pathology News. Pathology News. We collaborate, and they distribute my podcast as well. So, but I don't think he's making. He's gonna make it. And also, I'm like in some random location, so he wouldn't know where to look for me. I told him two locations that were closed. So yeah, but I see people walking around, and maybe I can wave somebody into the live stream. We'll see. But yeah, the general vibe is like, oh my goodness, there's so much resistance A lot like resistance from the regulators. Tomorrow we're gonna have the workshops on what it means, this FDA communication regulation, that the LDTs are going to be now under FDA regulation. So there's going to be a specific separate workshop on that and a talk. Um, so, but that's like the feeling. People are talking in a very collaborative way and thinking like, oh, if this particular company could cover this part of the workflow, then we can then their algorithm can actually point out to the place where our algorithm could be deployed, and we could like have a chain of things, and everybody could benefit. And yeah, the funniest thing was my earrings story, where we used path chat from Modella.ai to analyze that this is a multinucleated giant cell. And I see a few people joining at the end of this live stream. So let me know where you're tuning in from. And if you have any questions, like, do you want me to tell you anything about this conference? You can leave questions even if you are watching the replay, because tomorrow I'm going to have a short live stream, and I can look those questions up and let you know what the answers are. Like, you can ask anything, like what excursions were there? So ATVs, and there was fly fishing, there was horseback riding. I think there was some like whiskey tasting or some distillery trip, and not sure what else. But I got to take my family to the ATVs, and my husband was driving, and we had a four person ATV, and this was such a blast. Oh my goodness, my kiddos they're 5 and 3. They're gonna be 6 and 4, and they loved it. And my husband, of course, we got to go through puddles, through water, and he went so hard through this water that I was soaked. I still have like wet pants, wet jeans, because I didn't get to go to my hotel room and change. So that's what happened today. And there's going to be a vlog about it. I'm vlogging throughout this conference, and there is social media coverage on LinkedIn. So if you see anything from the conference on LinkedIn, give it some love, give it some likes and shares. That's going to be super helpful to show what's happening here. Um, for those who maybe want to come next year, definitely a good place to network. Good place to figure out, like, if you're new, what your value proposition is. Also, there are some pathologists who want to enter this, like, who know about the technology but are not yet signing out digitally. So I was able to connect one pathologist with a provider who is providing services for like an infrastructure for digital sign out of overflow cases. So that was nice as well. And if you come here next year, and I'll be here next year, then I will be more than happy to connect you with whoever can help you with blazing the digital pathology trail. And yeah, that was it for today. If you have any more questions, let me know in the comments. I'll try to quickly edit it and post it as a podcast as well. And I will see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. I guess it's late. Take care. I talk to you in the next episode.